This is a download from UUM Podcast 22.4, the Education Station.
The UUM Education is connecting you with the top people and ideas presented by UUM.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
I am Nur Arina, your moderator for today's podcast. Great to have you along with us, and today in the studio with me we have officers from the Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia, Ms. Zahra, and CEO of People Pay, Mr. Hazim.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us today. So, we are going to learn a lot today about e-wallet application. Does it Sharia compliance? As we know, the Industrial Revolution is booming with new technologies that are replacing traditional ones. It affects not only the technological components of computing and communication, but all parts of life, including engineering, medicine, social, economics, finance, and even politics. In Malaysia, e-wallets are becoming increasingly popular because of the ongoing efforts to create a cashless society. E-wallets are one of the possibilities for faster and easier payment, and People Pay is one of the various e-wallets we know accessible in Malaysia. So, what exactly is People Pay and how do we use it? Do you mind sharing with us, Mr. Hazim?
Thank you, Miss Arina. But firstly, let me introduce myself first. My name is Mohammad Hazim bin Mohammad Fadzli, and I've been the CEO for Keep Pay Syndrome Mahat for 2 years since 2020 when the pandemic hit our country. So basically, Keep Pay is a digital wallet and it is one of the fastest growing e-wallet in Malaysia, which are created by Keep Pay Syndrome Mahat. And we have been helping the businesses, consumers, governments and service providers in conducting cashless transactions. And we also have been partnered up with enterprises like Visa, Visa Merchant Service, and partnering up with universities like UUM, UITM, UPM, UPSI, which allow the students to make cashless payments on and off the campus. And we even partner up with the government agencies, for example like PTPTN, Perak Prihatin, and many more, as a way to assist our government and locals for payments and distributing the money for A40 population. So basically, for the technical part, we offer users with two alternatives to use our service, which are firstly through mobile app named Keep Pay. And this mobile app is an online prepaid account that allow users to make cashless payments using a variety of top-up options. And they also can purchase in the online platform, such as like online shopping and so on. And secondly, through our web, where our payment system provides them with a single platform with different payment methods. In the mobile app also, the users can scan to pay, which means that they only need to scan the Keeper QR code at the store counter to make payments using the Keeper e-wallet credits. And besides that, users also can order products from the email menu within the Keeper app and just pay right away. And there are also many other things to do with the Keeper e-wallet, such as mobile reloads, bill and utility payments, transfer money to friends, and they also can receive funds from friends, and book any services or facilities available in the communities, pay for PTPTN loans, and even investing in SSPN savings directly in the Keeper app.
Thank you, Mr. Hadi, for the interesting sharing. According to the Visa Customer Payment Attitudes 2016 poll, 74% of Malaysians prefer to make payments electronically rather than in cash. So, as far as I know, the sophistication of this e-wallet technology allows for additional innovation in the future. It is not impossible that one day we won't need any more apps on our phones. Just enough fingerprints or eye retinas to transfer money. For your information, the United Nations has employed blockchain technology to convey humanitarian aid to ensure that it is transparent, secure and continues to reach the right parties. However, some argue that data stored in digital wallets or e-wallets is vulnerable to misuse. So, Miss Zahra, is it safe to use an e-wallet, and what is your opinion about this?
Firstly, thank you Miss Arina for being our moderator today. Assalamualaikum and have a pleasant day everyone. Since we are discussing about how secure an e-wallet for everyone's use, I want to express my thoughts on this topic with the hopes of clarifying things for those who are still unsure about it. Frankly, people are still wondering if it is safe to use e-wallet even though it has been 4 years since e-payment was introduced in Malaysia. Just so that you know, in Malaysia, e-wallet companies are strictly regulated and must follow Bank Negara Malaysia's requirements, meaning that for these businesses, data protection and preservation are always on top of their priorities. This security applies to e-wallet apps where most of the transactions need a password or user's identification to proceed with the payment. So it is incredibly difficult for someone to steal your money from an e-wallet and use it to make a purchase. Hence, I dare to say that an e-wallet is totally secure for everyone to use as their main platform while transferring money to other parties.
Incredible explanation from Ms. Zahra. And now, we have come to the hottest issue right now, which is that many people are unsure whether or not e-wallets are Sharia compliant. Again to you, Ms. Zahra.
Sure.
What is your opinion on whether e-wallets are Sharia compliant?
Finally, we go to the hottest issue of e-wallet, or I can say that this is the question that I'm waiting for. Anyway, thanks again to the moderator for asking the question. Before that, just to let you know, Islam is a simple, rational as well as practical religion. The reason why e-wallet were introduced to everyone is to make things easier while doing any kind of transaction in our daily life, which are to make refunds to users, payment to merchants, and others. If you're asking me, is that e-wallet comply with Sharia rules? So the answer is yes, because e-wallet does not contain any aspect that are contrary with Sharia principles if the goods and services purchased by users are compliant with Sharia law, such as not purchasing alcohol, which is forbidden in Islam.
Okay.
In addition, I personally want to highlight this statement, which is Sharia principles in modern addresses and transactions are halal as long as they do not include this kind of elements, namely riba, gharar, gambling, illegal substances, or tyranny. In fact, Islam has never been opposed to the development of new technology because evolution and innovation must be recognized in accordance with the changes of era. On the other hand, any type of technology created by people must be intended for the good of human life and not challenging God's power. Hopefully, this can answer that question, and if Mr. Hazim has anything to add, please do so.
I would say that I am impressed with your point. You have a very good point, Ms. Zahra. So, let us move on to our next panel, Mr. Hazim. It would be a pleasure if you can share your opinions about this issue.
In the Perak State Fatwa Committee, they have been discussing about these issues of the using e-wallets. According to the committee, the use of e-wallet is permissible, provided that it meets some requirements, which are firstly, the transactions involving digital transaction must be done through an e-wallet operator that are approved and regulated by the authorities only, and users and operators must have knowledge of the use of e-wallets, and they also need to understand their rights and responsibilities as the contracting parties. Next, the operator is advised to seek Sharia advice from a qualified Sharia advisor, and there should be no element of force. The operator shall clearly state the applicable contract and the application to the consumer. Next, the operator must ensure that there is a refund mechanism when the user closes the account or in the event of that, because the money belongs to the customer. And lastly, user must use Sharia compliant e-wallets. These all requirements you can find out in the Perak Fatwa Committee's websites. So for me, as long as the users and the operators follows the requirements given by the Fatwa Committee, then I think it is permissible in Islam. Because as we know, the users of the e-wallet is not harming the people who's using
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
And in fact, it eases the users to make payments and other financing activities and so on.
Okay, thank you Mr. Hazim for the good explanation just now. I believe as Muslim and Malaysians, this sharing is very beneficial and essential for us, as we can get to know more about Sharia principles in Islam. So, since we already know the issue, how about we move to the next question, Ms. Zahra? I believe a lot of people still need validation of this issue. So, Ms. Zahra, if you don't mind, can you explain what is Sharia neuter and is there a need to validate?
From my point of view, Sharia neuter refers to the products or services that are not breaching none of the Sharia regulations or things that are prohibited and not allowed to be done with it. For instance, in the case of remittance services, the company that offers such services will assist customers to transfer their money to third parties.
Okay.
As a result, the remittance company will be paid a commission for each service rendered. So that is how they generate profit from the customers.
Yes.
Although the contract's tenets are deemed to be ingrained in the process, intent, and fundamental forms and documentation, there are no forbidden aspect at this service at all. Despite this, we determined that it was Sharia compatible because the contract did not contain any prohibited elements.
Yeah, thank you Ms. Zahra for the very informative sharing. With that, I believe we have come to the last session in our forum. Mr. Hazim, could you please share your advice to people who are still hesitant to use an e-wallet?
Yeah, sure, of course. Digital payments nowadays still have trust issues among the consumers in Malaysia, and it is not surprising at all because these people, they don't trust with the security risk and the internet, and therefore they don't feel safe using the e-wallet. And this is might due to their lack of understanding on how the internet works, and they have little experience or lack of exposure with the online world. Actually, there are many advantages of using an e-wallet, and there is no need to worry about. Firstly, e-wallet is very convenient. For example, if you go to any merchants that uses the e-wallet payments, then you don't need to bring your physical cash. Instead, you just scan the QR code given by the merchant. Next, you also can track your spending on e-wallet. If you are a person who always lavish in shopping or very stingy in matters of money, you might want to track your spending, right? In the e-wallet apps, there is a transaction history where you can track your daily or monthly spending. Next, e-wallet also can reduce theft risk, and it is impossible to steal money from digital wallet as compared to physical money. If we left our wallet and someone stole it, it's either we just let it go or we give up on it. Because physical cash that has been stolen is almost impossible to be retrieved back. And on the other hand, digital wallet does not need any of that, because if our account have been hacked or hijacked, we can just ask the operator to block and terminate our account. And the most interesting part in the e-wallet is users can get prizes, rewards and discounts from the e-wallet apps. In certain times, if you are lucky, you can earn freebies or collect points, and sometimes the e-wallet companies may make promotion discounts for certain payments.
Alright, I would like to say thank you very much to our panelists, Ms. Zahra and Mr. Hazim, for the opinion and information that you guys shared with us today. From what has been shared from both of our panelists today, I may infer that e-wallet services do not contravene Sharia principles, and that they actually help individuals simplify their daily life. However, e-wallet provided organizations must analyze technical processes and promotional strategies if they want to ensure that their services are Sharia compliant. I also hope that our discussion for today will somehow help our community to understand better about this issue. Well, best of luck for both of you. Till we meet again with another issue. Well, thank you very much for being on the show this morning,
Well,
and
thanks to you
have a
too.
nice day, everyone.
UUM Podcast 22.4.